AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada founder Acharya Vibhuti ISKCON ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 16, which is entitled The Payo Vrata Process of Worship. Text number 7 and later maybe also 8 and 9. Griheshu, Yeshu, Atitaya, Na, Arshita, Salilayapi, Yadi, Niryanti, Te, Nunam, Peruraja, Griha, Upama, Griheshu Yesvatitayo, Narshita Salilerapi, Yadi Niryanti Te Nunam, Teruraja Griopama, Griheshu Yesvatitayo, Narshita Salilerapi, Yadi Niryanti Te Nunam, Peruraja Griopama, Griheshu Yesvatitayo, Narshita Salilerapi, Yadi Niryanti Te Nunam, Peruraja Griopama,
Griheshu Yesvatitayo, Narshita Salilerapi, Yadi Niryanti Te Nunam, Peruraja Grihopamaha, Griheshu Yesvatitayo, Narshita Salilerapi, Yadi Niryanti Te Nunam, Peruraja Grihopama,
Griheshu Yesvatitayo,
Narshita Salilerapi,
Yadi Niryanti Te Nunam, Peruraja Grihopama,
Griheshu, at home, Yeshu, which, Atitaya, uninvited guests, Na, not, Arshita, welcomed, Salilayapi, even by offering a glass of water, Yadi, if, Niryanti, they go away, Te, such household life, Nunam, indeed, Peruraja, of jackals, Griha, the homes, Upama, like. So this verse is spoken by Kashyapa Muni. Homes from which guests go away without having been received, even with an offering of a little water, are like those holes in the field, which are the homes of jackals. So jackals are these animals, you see them. I see them sometimes in Mayapur. They look a little bit like dogs, but they are a little bit more aggressive. Not so much to human beings in general, but so here is they are used as an example. Purport. In a field, there may be holes made by snakes and mice. But when there are very big holes, it may be supposed that jackals live there. Certainly, no one goes to take shelter in such homes. Thus, the homes of human beings were atitis, and atitis means uninvited guests, are not properly received, are like the homes of jackals. Om Agyanatimirandasya Ganasya Shakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So here Kashyapa Muni is speaking to Aditi. Aditi is the mother of the demigods. And she's morose these days. Why? Because she's the mother of the demigods. And as such, the demigods and the demons, they're always in a fight. Then demigods win, then the demons become more powerful, and they occupy the heavenly planets, and then ultimately demigods always win, but there are times that demons are more powerful. And we learn a lot from that, because we by hearing why these situations happens, we learn from it. And the demons, they have their spiritual master, and the demigods have their spiritual master. Spiritual master of the demigods is Grihaspati, and the spiritual master of the demons is Sukracharya. And then there is another saintly person involved, is Bhrigu Muni and the descendants of Bhrigu Muni. So in this situation now, where Aditi is lamenting, this happened when her husband Kashyapa Muni, he went off for a deep meditation. He is a saintly person, and so when he came back, the ashram was like neglected, and the ashram is like an holy place. It's like a spiritual place for inspiration and for spiritual life. So, because before there were nice gardens, nice arrangements, nice flowers, like uplifting atmosphere was there. And when he came back from his meditation, and everything was down, no flowers, nothing nicely arranged. Also Aditi was, she had neglected herself, she appeared neglected. Her hair was not arranged, her clothing was weared out, and then so he was wondering what was happening, and he was inquiring. But the situation was such that Bali Maharaj had become very powerful, and because he had the direct help and instructions of Sukracharya, and on top of that he also was favored by the Brahmanas. The dynasty of Bhrigu Muni. Bhrigu Muni was a powerful sage and leader, and Bali Maharaj was empowered because he had pleased them, and in this way he had received the Brahma Tejas, which is a lot of strength, a lot of power he had received in that way. And in this way, he and his army of the demons went to challenge Lord Indra. Lord Indra is the king of heaven, king, leader of the demigods. And but Indra could see, oh my God, this Bali Maharaj has become so powerful. What happened? So then, since he couldn't grasp fully the situation, so then he took shelter of his spiritual master Sukracharya, and since he couldn't grasp the situation, he took shelter of his spiritual master Grihastha, and Grihastha was wondering what is happening here. So then Bali Maharaj he asked him, what is the situation? What is the solution? What is to be done? And but then Brihaspati said, well, there is not much what we can do. He replied basically, neither you nor your man can conquer the most powerful Bali. Indeed, no one but the Supreme Personality of Godhead can conquer him. For he is now equipped with the supreme spiritual power, Brahma Tejas. As no one can stand before Yamaraj, no one can now stand before Bali Maharaj. So that's how powerful he had become as the leader of the demons. Nobody could, only the Lord could check him. And then he continued. So the spiritual master of Indra, Brihaspati, continued. Therefore, waiting until the situation of your enemies is reversed. So rather than saying, okay, attack them or something, say, no, it doesn't make sense. You just have to wait until the situation has been reversed. You should all leave this heavenly planet and go elsewhere. That was his instruction. Rather than fighting against, you just take your bags and leave. Somewhere where you will not be seen. And then Brihaspati explained that Bali Maharaj has now become extremely powerful because of the benedictions given him by the Brahmanas. And the Brahmanas, the meant here are the Brahmanas from the Bhrigu Muni dynasty. But when he later insults the Brahmanas, because Brihaspati, is elevated sage, so elevated sages, sometimes they are trikalagya, they can see into the future. And he says, Bali Maharaj has now become extremely powerful because of the benedictions given by the Brahmana. But when he later insults the same Brahmanas that have given him the benediction, and because we know from the pastime of Bali Maharaj, where he meets Vamanadev, and then Vamanadev instructs him. Then at that time he has to choose. Either he follows the instructions of Vamanadev, or he follows the instructions of Sukracharya, because Vamanadev appears as the Lord in front of him, and he always followed the instructions of Sukracharya, but there he comes to a crossing point where Sukracharya's, although spiritual master, he has some different interests, some material interests in mind. And there, by Krishna's arrangement, Bali Maharaj makes the right decision and chooses to follow Lord Vamanadev, and that makes him ultimately a great devotee, because the Lord, our goal of our life is to please the Lord, to follow the Lord. But it's not always easy to see if somebody instructs us in the wrong way, that we go off track, so to say. It's not always so easy to see that. That's why Srila Prabhupada didn't want us to become blind followers. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to be Krishna conscious, to be awake. Because to be conscious, Prabhupada also said, before you become Krishna conscious, you have to become conscious. We shouldn't be sleeping, so to say, while we are practicing spiritual life. We should be awake, we should be alert, because this material world is a place, with a lot of traps where we can step in. So that's why we have to be alert, we have to be conscious. And then, once we're conscious, we are alert, then we can become Krishna conscious. We can take the right instructions, the right information, the right spiritual guidance, and then we can move forward in our spiritual life. So he says, but when later insults the Brahmanas, he will be vanquished, along with his friends and assistants. And in the future we see that Bali Maharaj he later comes and sits on the throne of Lord Indra again, but as Lord Indra in a different situation. So then the demigods, they accepted the advice. Haribol Maharaj. So the demigods accepted the advice of Grihaspati, and they bowed their head and they disappeared to a place where they could not be seen. The demons didn't even know where they were out of danger. They withdrew until better times would come. So and then, as we see here, Kashyapa Muni comes and sees that ashram is neglected and Aditi is morose, and then he starts saying things like, homes from which guests go away without having been received, even with an offering of a little water, are like those holes in the field, which are the homes of jackals. So this gives a lesson to us, especially to Grihasthas, but to us in general, how to deal with guests. When we receive devotees, when as Grihastha devotees or as devotees we receive other devotees, senior devotees, then we should always, or equal devotees or even lesser devotees, whatever, we should always treat them very nicely. We should always offer them. So Prabhupada, even in one purport, I will read something later, says even that we should, even our enemy, we should invite him and feed him in such a way that he forgets that he is our enemy. When it has a deep effect on a person when you come somewhere and the people didn't expect that you would come, and then you are received nicely. They just happen to have cooked for themselves and they say, why don't you come and sit? I just made a meal, and why don't you eat with us? This always has a very deep impression on people. It's a very deep impression on people, and when somebody is offered even a little prasadam, sometimes it really affects. It warms the heart. It warms the heart on the form of appreciation, and it's so healthy on the level of Krishna consciousness. And why is it so healthy? Because we are, you see, by constitution we are servants. So if any act that you do in the right direction of, we are servants of Krishna, eternal servants of Krishna. And so if you, let's say you're at home and you're about to take your meal, and then somebody knocks on the door and you can think, oh my God, I'm just going to eat now. Why is there again a botheration? Can't they come at the right time when I'm not eating and leave me alone? I want to enjoy my meal. But if at such a time we, instead of reacting the way sometimes we might be inclined to react, if at that time we change that, then we do exactly what the servant of Krishna is supposed to do. And instead we invite the person, say, I was just about to take a prasada, why don't you join? And then you serve the person first, and then you. This has such a deep effect on relationships. It has these are like loving exchanges. This is like real love. This is not lust. This is not taking for me. No, it is what was meant for me. I am sharing it, or I am giving it to the other person. We have sometimes in the scriptures to the extreme that even the person gives away everything that was cooked for him and nothing is left for himself. That's a very extreme, but of course that's also extreme beneficial if it is done wholeheartedly. But even that effort of sharing or giving and sacrificing, that is so healthy for our Krishna consciousness. It's extremely healthy. It's extremely beneficial. Because something which is dear to us, we are giving in a sacrifice to please the Lord and to fulfill what we are meant to be, to act in a way that we are meant to act. Acting as a servant. We are acting at that point as a servant of the Lord, and the Lord, who is sitting within our heart, is very pleased by this action. And that's how we also feel happiness. That's also we feel happiness in Krishna consciousness, because we are doing the right thing. Of course, any service to the Lord is beneficial, but service by which we need to sacrifice something extra, our desire to eat, for example, is very beneficial. Similar things are also, as they say, money is close to the heart. So if if somebody asks you for a donation, and you can give from the heart, that's a sacrifice, because in order to get that money you had to work for it, and then you give some of the fruits of your activities, you give them away to please a higher goal. So these are all very beautiful sacrifices and beautiful opportunities in Krishna consciousness to practice. I will read this from Sri Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada, this is just from a room conversation. So Prabhupada says, no, you invite them, that anyone, you're welcome, take prasadam. We can announce, then you can judge how many people are coming daily. You should announce that anyone can come and take prasadam at noon. It is the duty of a Grihastha to loudly cry, if anyone is hungry, please come. We have got still food. That is the duty of a Grihastha. If one does not come, then the chief of the house, he takes prasadam. If somebody says, I am hungry, so he should offer his own food. You eat. This is the duty of Grihastha. Bunjate te tvagam papa ye pachanti. Those who are cooking for themselves, they are simply eating sinful things. That's all. Bunjate te tvagam papa ye pachanti atmakaranat. So hospitality is one of the duties of the householder. Atiti. Atiti means guests. Guests without any information. That is called atiti. Because that's the most austere. When you know somebody is coming and you are prepared, your mind is prepared, the prasadam is prepared, everything is prepared. Then it's a little more easy to, because you already planned, you invite them, and which is also very nice, of course. It's nice to invite, Vaishnavas at home and serve them nicely prasadam. That's a great activity. But it's a little bit more easy to do that than when uninvited guest comes. That's the most challenge. Atiti means guest without any information. That is called atiti. Titi means date. So if I go to your house, I inform you that such and such date I'm coming there. But atiti, he does not inform you. All of a sudden comes. So you should have to receive him. That is called atiti, atiti panta. People are moving. Formerly, if some of the walkers in the streets suppose he has become hungry, so he enters anyone's house. So I'm hungry, sir. Give me something to eat. He will immediately take. There is a stock of foodstuff which is called panta bhaga. If somebody comes, all of a sudden he should take. And then Pradyumna says, the temple should always have some prasadam there, Srila Prabhupada. Temple must have, even ordinary Grihastha. That is Vedic civilization. Not that we cook for ourselves, for my husband, for my wife and children, eat it sumptuously and go to bed. No, even Grihastha, he should be always prepared to receive guests. Yes, and even a guest comes, your enemy, you should receive him in such a nice way that he will forget that you are all enemies. Griye satrum api praptam visvastam akuto bhayam. This is Vedic civilization. Not that beware of dog, please don't enter here. You're forbidden to come here. And if you come, I shall shoot you. Sometimes they do that. This is not human civilization. It is cats and dogs civilization. So actually we are teaching what is human civilization. But we must be also like human beings, not cats and dogs. Otherwise, how can you teach? If I'm like cats and dogs, I cannot criticize others as cats and dogs. I must be first of all a human being. Then I shall teach others how to become human being. I must become first of all devotee. Then I shall request others to become devotee. First behave yourself perfectly. Then teach others to become perfect. That is preacher. So this is ideally should be our attitude. Otherwise, we are compared to in this purport, like the halls of jackals is not a place where you feel invited. Even in Vrindavan, it was where so many sadhus are. So when the sadhus are hungry, they just go to one of the households, and then they get some prasadam, some khichdi, some chapati, like that. This is very nice. If that is the type of mentality that we should imbibe in our Krishna consciousness, should become part of our culture of Krishna consciousness. So the next verse is Api agnayas tu velayam nahutta vishya sati fayodvigna diya badre proshite mai karichit. O chaste and auspicious women, when I left home for other places, were you in so much anxiety that you did not offer oblations of ghee into the fire? There is no purport here, but the fire yagya is like the mouth of Lord Vishnu, where you offer ghee and bananas and fruit and grains, and so this is a sacrifice, of course, like in the temple for the deities. The cooking is going on. The cooking is going on. The yagya is going on to serve the deities nicely, because everything is centered around Radha Parisisvara and Lord Jagannath and Sri Gaur Nitai. Everything is centered around them. We are serving them. So the temple is in that sense, doing what, helping us to come to the understanding that we are eternal servants of the Lord, and we are simply practicing that, so that in due course of time we become so absorbed in their service that we forget our own desires, our desires to gratify our senses. Because the idea is not to become desireless. The idea is simply to bring the attention from our fulfilling our own desires to fulfill the Lord's desires, to satisfy the Lord. That is the greatest purification for our own attachment, for our own senses. Because in order to advance into Krishna consciousness, we have to throw out. It's like compared with so Prabhupada compares with that air balloon. When you are in the air balloon and you want it to go up, and you have to throw out the sandbags that keep you down on the earth. And then of course there is the fire which then brings the air up. But you have to throw out the sandbags. So also in spiritual life, it's not that we start with a pure heart. We start with an contaminated heart, because everybody in this world is contaminated by material desires. So, but by using this tendency to serve ourselves, to cook for ourselves, to eat for ourselves, if we transform that into cooking for the Lord, into serving the Lord, into serving the devotees who are serving the Lord, then we are, Srila Prabhupada set up these temples like that, with the deities in the center, then the devotees are serving the deities, and younger devotees are serving senior devotees, and there is a whole natural purification that takes place if we follow that. And that's how we get rid of because we cannot be without desires. Some people, they try to, become desireless, but that's a very impersonal approach. We cannot be without desires. We cannot be without thinking. Just have to desire the right thing, think the right thing, put our mind in the right topics. Because when we study Srimad Bhagavatam, that means we put our mind into, we are associating with Srila Prabhupada, we are associating with the Guru Parampara, we are associating with Lord Krishna, and through the Shastra, and that has a purifying effect, and that's how we get rid of our anarthas, because our anarthas are from a lower nature, and the scriptures are from a higher nature. So we replace something lower by something higher, and this has a purifying effect on the heart, and this results into doing the right thing, and once you do the right thing, you feel uplifted, you feel lighter, you feel, you don't feel depressed, you feel happiness. And of course, because we are students in Krishna consciousness, so sometimes we also make mistakes, and then or sometimes there is a little setback or something. But the whole process of Krishna consciousness, the whole setup of the temples Srila Prabhupada made, is with that aim in mind, to uplift all those who take shelter to the Lord, all those who help develop Krishna consciousness, all those who help spreading Krishna consciousness, all those who distribute books, distribute prasada, serve, they get uplifted simply by doing the right thing, and like Srila Prabhupada said, not that you have to stop what you are doing, but you have to add Krishna consciousness, like for Grihasthas who live outside and have a job to maintain their families. So it's not necessarily that they have to give up what they are doing, but they have to add Krishna consciousness. They have to transform their life, add Krishna consciousness to what they are already doing, to the basic necessity they are doing. They have to add Krishna to it, and by adding Krishna to it, then we can gradually become Krishna conscious, and we gradually obtain the goal of life. Srila Prabhupada was always very much disappointed when he went in '65 to New York. He was very eager to see the universities, but then because they are so well developed in the West, beautiful big establishments, big buildings, big big professors, big titles, all these things is there. But then when he saw all the different branches of the university, and he couldn't find anything about the essence of life, about spiritual life, about the goal of life, about God consciousness, and he was disappointed. What is this? I mean, they have such big establishment here, and it's all about this temporary lifetime. Come specialized in this, specialized in that. So, so that's the lacking of the material world. Many things are very developed, and so much energy has been put in, but it's so much energy has been put into temporary achievements, which are doomed to change, because nothing in this material world is eternal. And about it, what is eternal, about the spirit soul, there is very little knowledge. There is very little. So there, of course, Srila Prabhupada was somewhat disappointed, but he also could see the importance of his mission. And that's why as soon as distribution started to take place, he suggested that the books are placed in the universities, and there were some devotees who became very expert in putting the books in the libraries of the university, and in this way preach Krishna consciousness and bring what is so much lacking in the Western society. So here also, Kashyapa Muni, he started to preach to Aditi, because she felt morose, because she's the mother of the demigods, but the demigods had fled into places where they could not be seen by anybody. So, and then of course there is a whole pastime that further develops in a very interesting way, that we will see later, and I think I will stop here now. And if there are any comments or questions, then please.
Thank you for the class. You mentioned in the beginning that Shukracharya is the spiritual master of the demons. But we know that demons are atheists. They deny the spiritual knowledge. So how come they have spiritual master?
Can you speak a little? My hearing is not so good. So
Shukracharya is spiritual master of the demons. But we know that the demons, they don't accept
Shukracharya is the spiritual master of the demons, yes.
But the demons are atheists. They don't accept spiritual knowledge. So what kind of knowledge is teaching them?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's You understood the question, Maharaj? That
I didn't catch the last word, but it sounded like the demons don't believe in something. What is that?
the demons are atheists. That's what you're saying.
Atheists.
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 But they have
What
spiritual
knowledge is
masters.
he teaching?
Because it's spiritual masters, so I think.
How can they have a spiritual master if they are atheists? But
Yeah.
I don't know if the understanding that the demons were atheists is fully right. But
But inimical towards God,
yeah,
that's for sure. Demons are those who against Vishnu, against God.
yeah,
Giving them information whereby they can achieve their objectives based on the Vedas. We see it today that many so-called spiritual masters are teaching anti-Krishna philosophy, right? And they're taking from the Vedas sometimes. They're giving, performing yajnas and philosophical justification for their objectives. So, he's teaching them all kinds of proper behavior so they can achieve, like what we were mentioning in the class, receiving gifts. Even sometimes the demons receive gifts very nicely. They get empowered because they please people on whatever level they're on. And they follow certain principles, they follow certain, but what the purpose is demonic, because the purpose is to get rid of Krishna, not to please Krishna. So this, when you say, that's the nature of the demon. So he's teaching them also that. Of course, as you said, the trick is there, because even in that particular case, part of those yajnas which he's teaching them to perform, to attain power, includes worship of Vishnu. They worship the demigods mostly. But it includes Vishnu, isn't it?
Mhm.
And that was the basis in one sense that Bali Maharaj rejected his spiritual master, was it not? He included in that, although how conscious they are of Vishnu and his absolute position, but at least it's included in their various sacrifices. Nowadays, we see in India many gurus, so-called gurus, are using Vedic knowledge, they're using Vedic mantras, they're using Vedic yajnas, they're using Vedic terminology, they're using so many things, but they're not teaching Krishna consciousness. They're teaching yoga, there's no God, whatever you want to call it, atheism, impersonalism, whatever it may be. But they can also get that power. Krishna use that now. Say, faithful in what they're doing, they may also achieve it. You're certainly teaching them like that because that's what they want. But Bali Maharaj is an exception. I mean, he's not really exactly a demon. He has to be the head of the demon. They want the power, sort of like Kashipu, worshipping Brahma, Ravana worshipping Shiva.
It's a little different with the modern understanding of atheist means you don't believe in God. That's it. Full stop. It's a little different because there is a
But these demons usually they know about God, but they hate him.
yeah. They envy him and they hate him.
Nowadays they just totally
That's the
darkness. Maybe the leaders of that community have that mentality with the vast, but who knows? We do see, this is off the mark, you do see many of the big atheists now, they talk a lot about God. They just hate him, they just don't want him in the picture. Richard Dawkins, I mean, he speaks more about God than we do practically. He completely discredits him in every word. It's like, they're kind of like they're demons. Really test the concept of God. But most people, they don't have any philosophy, they do nothing. The demons, they're out and out, they're against God, they're the enemies of God. He's teaching them how to, ultimately they're thwarted, ultimately they're frustrated, but teaching them how to try to achieve. He's got a role to play. Shiva had a role to play, teaching Mayavad philosophy. Buddha had a role to play, teaching what we call atheism, the there is nothing. They're roles to play. People have that mentality. Krishna, through this various means, gives them a chance to fulfill their, perverted desire, whatever it is. Materially the same thing. People want material results, then you get certain. In the Vedas, you see, it's full of different things to do to get material results. You worship the demigods, you do this yajna, you do this pious activity, you do this prayasthita, unlimited things are there to try to facilitate people's selfish motivations. So they're there to give that facility. Whether they believe it or not, but that's their role to play. Shukracharya is we don't paint a very, very good picture of Shukracharya usually, do we? He's like a seminal Brahmin who's just interested in his own belly and his own economic returns.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, but he knows what's going on, and he just has a role to play. Teach these guys according to the plan of the Lord to do things so that they can become powerful. Krishna is reciprocating in everyone accordingly.
Like Sukracharya, I mean, he had knowledge. Like he knew that Vamanadev was Krishna, was Vishnu. He knew that. So in order to know that, you have to have knowledge. He did have knowledge and realization. Just that he mixed it with material interest for himself, his own prestige, his own power. It was mixed in with that.
With motivation.
Yeah.
And even Dhritarashtra knew Krishna was God. He couldn't follow it. He couldn't surrender to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was too materialistically attached.
Yeah. So the demoniac aspect was that aspect of envy, that aspect of wanting to be more powerful than Krishna, all these things. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Radha Parasisvara ki jai. Or Premanande.